Hello YouTubers, Jim here again, talk about all things motorcycles, not necessarily on this occasion the BMW R1250 RT, but something quite close to my heart and I would say a lifelong obsession on motorcycles, and it's the subject of earplugs. So I generally use these things called spark plugs. I couldn't tell you when I started using these, it must be over 20 years ago. And I actually bought off eBay about 3-4 years ago a big box of them, and I'm not even a third of the way through. They are moldable, I find them extremely comfortable, and they deaden sound beautifully. The problem is if I want to listen to music, they deaden the sound a bit too much. So if I turn the volume up on the bike and the volume up on the headset, most tracks come through, but I lose the bottom range. And if I've got a bit of a quieter track, then I can't hear it at all. So for years, I've been trying to find the best solution, and I've had molded. Some have worked, some haven't worked. But one thing I'm finding now with the RT and everything being Bluetooth, I need a slightly different solution. So one solution which I tried, which worked nicely on other bikes where I don't have all the in-bike control, and it's these things. These are Shure headsets, about £80-90. They're generally made for the music industry. They fit directly into the ear, folding quite nicely, and the shape of them means they grip quite nicely. And actually, because they sit in the ear, for wearing in a helmet, they're pretty good all round. You have controls here. The trouble is though, in a crash helmet, you're fiddling around. So once they're set up, and that's it. So an okay solution, but not ideal. The next thing then I've tried is these things. You might have seen these on Facebook, eggs. And come in a nice little pouch. And look like so. And there's a little thing inside. I think you can see it on the camera, but there's a little thing inside which filters the sound out. And these are pretty good, apart from the fact I find them uncomfortable. After an hour, they make my ears hurt. And I actually have two sets because I got them on a deal. I've tried them riding the Himalayan, and I've tried them on the BMW. On the Himalayan, I link my helmet direct to my phone because I don't have all the in control that you have with the BMW. And certainly much better at filtering out road noise but allowing in music. Nothing's perfect, but I have found them rather uncomfortable. So not the solution. So I've just got these now off eBay, and these are loops. So somebody recommended them to me last year. I bought a set, put them in a drawer, now I can't find them. And they're quite expensive. I think it's £18 for these. And so this is what you get. And my plan is that tomorrow I have a long ride, be riding about 600 miles. I've got a nice little box and a little container. And in fact, for these things, I use an old pillbox for keeping them in. And they look like this. So I think similar to the eggs. I don't know, I'm going to try them out. So the second half of this video will be, how did I get on with the loops? Did they work? Are they comfortable? Can I hear music? Bear in mind I'll be behind my beautiful fairing touring screen, so the wind noise shouldn't be such a big issue. So I will give them a try and I'll report back. Good morning YouTubers, happy Easter. The sharp-eyed amongst you will see that I have a new angle. You can see back into my house. I I've been away for a couple of days, and while I was away, my very good lady wife decided to rearrange my office. So, new view. And I'm a lucky man, I have to tell you, I'm very lucky. So this is the after for the earplug test, and if you recall from the beginning, which now I've cut it, was only about 30 seconds ago, I had 3 lots of earplugs. I had the foam ones, I had these eggs, and I had these loops. And so I've ridden, the last 3 days, I've ridden 1,100 miles, and that is about 12 to 14, 15 hours of riding. And the whole time I had earplugs in, because I always wear earplugs. And my experiment is, can I hear music clearly? And I have a very clear result. The eggs in this little pot here, the pot's pretty good. These are the worst. I still couldn't get them comfortable, and your ear might be a slightly different shape and you will find them comfortable, but I didn't find them comfortable. They didn't really seem to cut out that amount of noise, and certainly didn't do what they say they do, which is separate out sounds, so separate out bad sounds and leave you the good sounds. I probably only wore them for an hour, and after an hour I didn't like it anymore, and I stopped and I changed. I put the foam ones in. So I'll keep them as a backup, but I just didn't get on with them, and for motorcycling it's a no. The clear winners, and really what was a surprise for me, is these things, the loops. So they come in this little pack, and they have that little ring which sits in your ear, and I have to say they were really good. They fit well. They took away enough sound that made riding, even without music, that made riding just generally comfortable, and I could actually hear slightly more, so significantly better than the foam earplugs. But pretty much all day comfortable. The way this little ring works just sort of sits inside your lobe here, keeps them in a nice firm position. And then with music, I used the Shoei Neotech with the Sena system, which was designed for that helmet, fitted into it. The problem with the Sena system, I find, and a couple of other people I know who have them, say they have the same problem, is it's a bit quiet. So you have to have the volume on the helmet turned up, the volume of the bike turned up, and the volume of the phone turned up. Everything has to be turned up to full volume. And it's a bit like they don't understand how noisy riding a bike is, and the fact that you're probably going to have to wear some form of earplug to deaden out some of the sound, otherwise it can be problematic. But the loops were the best in that when the volume set correctly, I could hear all the music, and I could hear it to a level that was comfortable. I could hear all the lyrics and and I could hear some of the softer sounds. When I wear the thick earplugs, I can't always hear the softer sounds, and you can't hear intros or outros. Whereas with the loops, I could hear everything, and it was very pleasant. But I think the most surprising thing for me was how comfortable they were and how effective they were as motorcycle earplugs. And so, although they were a little bit expensive, I think they cost me £18. And my big fear is I'm going to lose them. This little pot isn't particularly good for keeping them in. But that said, I think they're really good. And so, for that reason, the loops get my recommendation as the best earplugs for general riding, listening to music and stuff. So I hope you found that useful. Take care, happy Easter, ride safe.